Hi everyone, this is Julianne Victoria of Through the Peacock's Eyes. It is New Year's Eve, so December 31st, 2020, and I had this idea to do this special reading for each of the zodiac signs for the year of 2021. But it's not just a tarot reading. Last year I did the diving into 2020, and I realized in retrospect that me doing that readings was a sign that 2020 was going to be an unusual year. So hopefully 2021 is better for all of us out there. I have had my Vedic Astrology 2021 horoscope readings for each sign out for a while. If you haven't checked that out and want to take a look at that to see something maybe a little bit more practical every day, check that out. But this reading, and I think I'm going to call them what we need to weave together to create our dreams in 2021. It's going to be titled something like that. I haven't figured it out. And that is because of the two decks I'm going to use. So the first deck, I will pull one card from the Weaver's Oracle. And this is sort of like a deck where we get messages from the ancestors, especially the grandmothers. And what I'm going to do, oh, interesting, I just pulled to the page of Sun. What I'm going to do, so there's two pages for each of the cards. What I'm going to do for this reading is to read her yarn, because these readings are of what yarns do we need to gather up to weave together our dreams for 2021. Sort of like dream weaving, not the dream time dream weaving, but the dream weaving meaning what do we want to create and how are we going to create what we want? Okay. Now, what I'm thinking I will do mid-year in 2021, I haven't decided. We'll see how the year goes. The first half of the year goes, is that in the second half, I will read from the same card for each sign, the braid and the cloth sections. But for this, I'm just going to read the yarn. So one card from the Weaver's Oracle, and then from the Yarn of Mama Shamana deck, which I used last year for the 2020, diving into 2020 readings. I'm going to pull, it's a two-part deck, as you can see, it comes in two parts. These are the backs. There are picture cards, and they're called metaphor cards. And then there are saying cards. I'll just show the back. It's just plain white for that. So it's basically three cards for each sign. And what yarn? It's not going to give you something specific, like you need a new car and you need a new resume or something. You're going to have to take from it what resonates with you. And that's going to give you an important piece for inner work, possibly shadow work, for self-healing, inner healing, for motivation, for inspiration for the year of 2020, so that you can take these yarns that come up for you and weave them into the different aspects of your life to create what you want. So that's my goal with this. We'll see how it turns out. Let me know in the comments how these resonate with you, because this is sort of an experimental reading as well. And people always ask, you can listen to this based on your Western astrology sun sign. You can also listen to your ascendant and moon to get more pieces of yarn, more different colors of yarn, size of yarn to weave together for the year ahead. So this will be fun. This will be interesting. Let me know how it goes. Thank you for being here, and on to the individual readings. Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your dream weaving reading for 2021. Let's do one deep shuffle here. So we're starting with the Weaver's Oracle. All right, Sagittarius, you get number 45, Vessel, Shaman Weaver of Oceans. So let me pull up her yarn for you, and I'll put her picture on screen while I'm reading. All right. Vessel, Shaman Weaver of Oceans. She weaves the grandmother of drums, her yarn. A briny tale may be as long as the full turn of a tide in its telling. This one was woven through with wind and waves and wild crags, as well as shifting shapes and the pulsing resonance of the great ocean drum. Long braid Yader was a stone-born woman. She knew the nature of rock. She climbed a path that rose above the darkly glittering sea, while a sharp breeze snatched at her ears. On the summit, she braced her body, leaning forward into the gushing onshore wind. She was balanced on the rim of the vast bowl in which the ocean moved. She absorbed the detail of the shoreline with small magic of every shell and pebble and churning heaps of kelp. Yater crouched, hair blown like the streaming grasses, arms raised to the streaming wind, and she considered how courage is amplified within stone. Her eyes were anchored to the solitary shape of a gray-leg goose buffeting across the bay. Then she nodded stone to sky through the misty ridge, woman breathed into goose. Briny was the seeing in that salt woman's eye. Pearl of the gray hood was a cloud born and skimmed along the boundary between the land and air. So Pearl of the gray hood is in italics, so that's a name, was cloud-born and skimmed along the boundary between the land and air. She played the wind, minutely adjusting the height and direction of her flight. Her expansive view stretched way across the mass silent, timeless water. She touched its power each time her long wing feathers swept down towards the ocean bowl. Pearl dipped low above the crusting waves, wings drenching in the salty spray, and she understood how freedom is revealed within the sky. She watched the dark head of a gray seal surfacing, disappearing, rising in the rolling water. Then she nodded sky to sea through that watery brim. Goose slid into seal. Briny was the prayer in that salt woman's bones. The Selkie Nor was sea-born and embraced the edge of air and ocean. She was not a mere observer of the ocean, but a full participant in every swell and wash of it, as she wove between the restless churning surface and the silent watery cathedrals down below. She coiled between darkness and light, hidden inside the deep fathoms of the ocean bowl. Below the waves there was no place where her solid fluid body could not travel. She knew what truths were concealed underneath the seas. Nor swam close to the shoreline, keeping her attention on the gray form of a woman picking her way across the kelp-strewn skerry. Then she nodded sea to stone. Through that rocky shore, seal emerged into woman. Long-brayed Yater was salt-born when this briny tale returned at last to rock and woman's form. She walked beside the great ocean drum, shaking feathers and seaweed from her tangled hair. Briny was the path of that salt woman's feet as she nodded 3 worlds into one. Wow, Sagittarius. These are all so powerful. Okay, so now let's pull your 2 cards from the Mama Shamana deck. We're starting with the picture card. They're metaphor pictures. So take from it what you will. Okay. It looks like the side of a woman. She's holding a bag. So you can pause, take a screenshot to work with this image. And let's pull your phrase card, and then I'll hold them both up together. Only once a silky thread is pulled into a unique impression. Okay. And again, you can pause, take a screenshot, meditate on this, journal on it, pull your own cards on it, revisit it. Let me know in the comments below how this resonates for you, Sagittarius. I think these will be interesting readings and be interested to see how different things resonate for different people. Thank you for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful start to 2021.